Chase your dream, but don't get shackled. That's this phenomena is very very important. Everything begins with a dream. Like when the sound of a music or whatever you do, it sounds something that's a dream. You want to do that. A painter starts painting because sees a beautiful concept. Then a architect wants to do a beautiful architecture. So they follow. It gets into the dream. But what happens is once you start going into the industry, which is controlled by not you but other people and other organizations, establishments, that's where the cage starts and the shackle gets really shackled. You know what? This is something to explore. And if you can really go inside, you'll know what to do. Namaskar, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in this world, and I hope you are doing fantastic and following your dream and not getting shackled by everything else. This episode about that. It's one of the most fundamental thing that people, not just musician, I think anybody goes into this world to do whatever they're doing is something which you face, or it's there in you, and sometimes you realize, sometimes you don't. I mean, the dream and the shackle part. The dream part is always you wanted to become somebody. You wanted to become a very famous pilot. You wanted to become a great musician or an architect or a doctor. Anything you choose, that starts with a very genuine, divine concept from within. It comes from within, which is the intuition, which is actually, when you really talk about the intuition, it is like the pure divineness inside you, whether you can call that super energy, super conscious, pure consciousness, God, religious, whatever you may call it. But whatever it is just very pure and divine and beautiful and loving. So that starts happening, you start exploring that. So for a case of a tabla player, or for me, and let's just talk about me, and then you can, if this relates to anybody, that's good, I started playing tabla because I like the sound of it. I mean, my parents tried everything with me, everything in the house, from a guitar to sitar to the singing. They even tried to get me to dance, and because they were dancers, right? To a point where the sound of the tabla was always in my ear, because from my childhood, because they had a school, dance and a music school, and so I could hear tabla all the time. And subconsciously, whatever happens, I would play the tabla. There was a tabla downstairs, go and play on it. Like in India, most of those people have households have tabla. Like here they have guitar, piano. We have tabla, tabla and harmonium. So it was part of that thing. So I played tabla, and the sound, I liked it. But as time went on, to make a long story short, I started studying tabla with Shankar Ghosh and really started enjoying tabla with the sound and the exploration of the compositions and the way he was teaching and the process of all of that. So that developed my direction of my dream of what I wanted to do. Yes, he was performing, and there were other tabla players performing and everything else. Tabla solos were going on, whatnot. It was very attractive to me, but what really got me was the teaching part. So that became my swadharma. You have this dharma and you have the swadharma. The dharma is the duty, and the swadharma is like, what you want to do, kind of like plain language. And the thing is this, if you can follow your own swadharma, you're better off. But as soon as when you start listening to others just doesn't mean, in this case, individuals, like a human being, identified. It could be organization, it could be institution. Organization, I mean like, say festivals and record label and name it, on that category, and institutions, schools, colleges, whatnot, where they want you to teach in a certain way, or they want you to follow a certain pattern because that was developed for a certain reason. And festivals and everything, they want you to perform in certain things, certain songs, certain thing, because that's what the crowd wants. Well, that's what everybody wants. But what do you want? That is the question. What do you want? It's pause there. Yeah. So I can keep on going. I'm where I'm waiting for a question from Shomik here. So yeah, this topic can go on. This can go on. This is just a chapter one. You can think about of people's life, but it's a huge thing. This is the real life in this world.
When chasing a goal, do you find, how do you personally tell the difference between the reason why you're chasing this goal being an inner desire or it coming from external pressure? For example, like you're building this new album and it's doing all the rollout and everything. How do you know that the motivation of you doing this is because of external results and what people will think, or it's because of your inner desire just to create music?
They're talking about two things here. I mean, yes. Let's just talk about you already established becoming a musician, not one like you're born into a family and they want you to do music. So that's the other thing where it's not you don't want to be a musician, but you're forced into be a musician. So that's a different thing. But here you are in this field and you're going out and you're ready to embark and just follow the journey, because I think the core thing is that you want to share. The very important thing is that you want to, when you do something, you want to share. And so when you share, when this concept is born in you, then you go, then you're looking for external validation. So you seek out those kind of validation. You know what? You send out those kind of vibes and they come to you. So you want to be validated. Why? My question is now, why do you want to be validated? For what reason? Really? You're the one who has this control over yourself, the joy, and everything else. It's just the very first thing you started with. Why do you need to be validated for what you're doing something good? Why does someone has to tell you what you're good? That means you don't trust yourself. So all these things begin to happen about your own character, who you are, and what not. And so you're not confident about yourself. Or you're questioning what you're doing. You're questioning the steps of that music or whatever it is. Or you see the glamour of the outside world and say, oh, he or she is doing this. Well, I can do that. But see, already you've changed. You've already changed from a beautiful, beautiful thing to a greed. It's gone. Though that's greed. I want this, I want that, I want to fly there, I want to this, I want to make money, I want to do this. So you attract those kind of situations for yourself, and then you get sucked into it, and then then you have to follow the rules. There you go. So, like for example, even say for example, like you still want to start a band. Say for example, you start a band. You're playing beautiful music, and then you want to start a band. So tabla ensemble. No, I'll go into that. That's a whole different thing. So you start a band. As soon as you start a band, now you're beginning to work with someone else. It's just not your dream, but someone else's dream. You have to work together. What are you going to do? But see, what I'm trying to say is by doing so, you have already stepped outside that beautiful divine feeling with what you have started. And you've already gone into a process of what the outside world or everything wants. By doing so, you step by step, you're forgetting the music. So then my question will be, when was the last time you sat down and played good music for yourself? See, you get up in the morning and you say, first thing you're going to do, who liked me? How many likes did I have? Let's see which festivals checked my profile, or what? Your already mind is so clogged up with that is forming some kind of internal disturbances within you, and you don't even realize even what it is. You're becoming irritated. You're becoming impatient. You're becoming what's the word called? Desperate. And all those things are kicking in and took you away from the very beautiful, beautiful divineness which you first started. And listen, I'm talking about myself. I'm really talking about myself. And then you get into this whole thing in the industry. The industry wants to do what they want you to do to feed their own salary, basically. Their salary. Really rare, few people in the industry believes in what you do. So, for example, we were nominated for Junos. Junos was like the Grammys in the United States and whatnot. So yeah, I slapped. We put an album together which was slapped together, put it together, and then it got nominated for Juno. So yeah, so I went there with other southern rock and roll bands and everything. Sat down, had steak dinner and wine and whatnot, and everybody sitting there, and then the nomination so our so-called world music category came out. World music. Music is music. World music? I mean, okay, there you go. So that come up, so name, they're popping up the name, and then it goes, and the Toronto Table Ensemble. So, if somebody changes my name to from Ritesh Das to Radish to Ratash, how would I feel? How would you feel if somebody calls you a different name and something like that? And then when they say they announce that as Toronto Table Ensemble, have the decency to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Or did you know? Or you really think we were a table ensemble? Furniture. So, where and how? See how much it has changed from the very beginning. I wanted to form an ensemble just to have a beautiful sound and enjoy, so people can come and enjoy and collaborate with various different cultures and stuff like that to do this. But I didn't want to go and apply for Junos and everything else. Somebody else told me to do that, and so we did. In the inside, something was saying no. So to answer your long question, your short question, I've gone all the way. I did not listen to my intuition. Intuition is always going to tell you, but why didn't I listen to my intuition? Because I doubted myself. When you stop having doubt, that's when you progress. Don't doubt. I doubted myself. Oh, well, I'm not listening. And if I don't do this, I'll be an arrogant guy. I'll be egotistical. I'll be that. He's this, he's that, all that kind of stuff, external kind of stuff comes pumping in, and you're ruined. But if you stay solid with who you are, what do you care what other people are saying? What do you care? You came alone, you're going to go alone. Does it matter if other people are saying your bank balance is going to go up? No. Your karmic bank balance is going to go down. That's what it is. Cause, action, cause, action. So you got to be really careful of that. Am I saying this right? I don't know. Okay.
No, yeah. What have talking about your own personal experiences, because this all come from personal experience. Have you ever achieved something that in your path that looked successful, but you really felt more empty inside than anything? And why do you think that really happens?
Yeah. Concerts. Performing at sold out auditorium, it's concerts, yeah. Or going on tour where it was sold out one side of the town, we were sold out, and other side of the town, other great artists, whoever, I'm not mentioning name, was not even sold out. So that thing was all, oh yeah, well, sold out. So the thing is this, it's kind of like sold out, but to me, I always felt like, wow, it's sold out. That means a big responsibility. That's a huge responsibility. That means people actually paying money to come and see you. That's a huge responsibility. You have a duty now. No more playing music for yourself. You're playing music for everybody else. Now you have to go on there, and so you do it. Okay, all right, sold out audience, everything else. Name in the newspaper, big photos, this, that, good reviews, 5-star, 4-star, whatever you call it. At the end of the day, come home. No, something is inside is hollow, because you are in search of a sound, a vibration, which heals you. That's why you started. So I started because of a sound which provoked me within and made me calm, joy, all that what you can think about. So yeah, so going out for doing those kind of things, it's very materialistic actually, and it doesn't give you that satisfaction of the pure joy within. Very rare do you get that joy on stage. Very rare. That joy only comes through hardcore practice and actually when you're doing something, when you let go and doing stuff like that. And that principle remains the same for anything you do in your life. When you're letting go and doing something, there is that joy. So that joy, that divineness doesn't come from at all from the industry standards and so-called name, fame, whatnot is calling it, It's noise. Actually, basically, it's noise. And it's a deep subject. Again, here it's a very, very, very. You can dive into this, and there are process of how to understand where you're coming from, how to correct it, and whatnot. Takes a lifetime, and also requires guts to change your habits and practices and things, and look for the joy. I never went for industry formula. I did not. People hated me for this. Still, they do. They call me up. Somebody called me up and wanted me to be a judge. I said, no, I don't want to do that. What is the point of judging someone? Why would I want to go and judge anybody? So that person will go up on stage and, yay, holding some kind of a copper or bronze thing. Yay. So what? One night, bang on. Next day, life goes on. I don't want to judge anybody. By doing so, you're creating, again, the karma. Be careful of what you're doing. Every action has an opposite and equal reaction. Period. What is it? Look at it. The spirituality say, as you sow, so shall you reap. Love thy neighbor as thyself. That's in the Bible, but it's the same kind of feeling. God, yeah, love everybody, So what is this? Why, if you want to give award to everyone. Really, what is this competition? Yeah, in the long run, it doesn't make any sense to me in the spiritual level. I don't know, Shomik.
In a world around you that's so obsessed with these results, what have you done personally to cut out that noise and to kind of keep the process that you have sacred?
Tabla classes teaches you that. Tabla classes are very much like the class which we do right now. As time went on, I always push people to go to the next level with, and what is that next level is like trying to get rid of the certain kind of bad habits, one form, and just to try to take them towards a path which will lead them to some kind of a joy, and so not fall into the outside formula. Everybody wants to be like playing super fast or this or that, or watch somebody on TV and say, I want to be that. But see, again, if you watch somebody on TV and all that kind of stuff and you want to be that, it's a good thing. But follow the process of who or she has gone all the way to come to TV and play like the way he or she is playing. That for that person, it took a lot of strength to become who they are. And so I always maintained that in class. So just be true to the fact that you're doing this for yourself. Be true to the fact that you will have to practice. Be true to the fact you want some kind of joy and happiness through this. You will have to go through a process, and that's called practicing. That requires for everything, not just tabla, that's for everything. For you're a sports person, you're, again, architect, business person, name it. It's thorough, processed step. Just like the nature of the universe, the world is made out of that. It is we are all following the same process. The world is rotating at, 16,000, 1,600 kilometers per hour, right? Something like that? I don't know. Am I right? I don't know. Check it out. It's a tremendous amount of speed. So what happens? Just think. We are going with that speed, right? If that thing, if it stops, we'll go rushing. We'll go flying out of this place. So, yeah, everything is from the start of the universe, from the day you're born, you're following a system. It is not your system. It's way bigger than you can even think of, even manifest beyond anything. You are just a little, like I'm saying, I am just a little tiny speck, one tiny speck here in this London, Ontario right now. Just this is just that. Think the whole world, like who I am, and beyond. That's just the world. Just think past the world, the galaxy, and wherever. We are just one tiny little speck. So who are you not to follow a certain kind of a rhythm if the universe is following, and because of that you're alive, you're breathing. So why are you denying all that? I don't know. It led to from one thing to the other, but I think there's a connection.
Do you think it's possible in kind of the world we live in today to make it as a really successful double player or a musician artist without losing that joy and that inner compass that you talked about?
If you want to, if you want to, if you want to learn and say, you know what, the joy is, this is what I want to do, and yet I still want to play tabla. Of course, nobody's stopping you. Just do that, follow it, understand that, practice, and practice with love, practice with no expectations, practice with for the love of it, not from the thing. Okay, I want to be on stage. I'm going to play this. I'm going to play fast. None of those kind of things. Just practice because you enjoy it, and let that become your habit. That can be who you are, and that ooze out of you. And that's when you walk. That's what you are. You're very divine in that manner. So when you sit down and you touch the tabla, that comes out of you. Not just doesn't matter how fast you play, how slow you play. As soon as you touch it, there's something about you which is very, very pure. So yeah, so you if you meditate on that and you understand who you are, and you understand beyond who you are just nothing but this body. It's just an uniform. You will go past, gone, finito, down. A body is gone. Something else happened. But the real self, who is that self? If you really understand that concept of that, I think that's when you begin to truly become humble. That's like I said, we are just a little speck in this whole thing. So if you keep that idea of the humbleness inside, then I think you will shine. That's why a lot of great teachers teach students to be humble. They talk about it in various ways, like ego, this, that, don't do this, don't do that. But the whole ultimate truth is be humble to everything. Yeah, be thankful. Actually, be grateful that you can even play. Thankful that you can sit and play. Just think about the tabla in front of you, where and how it was made, and from where it came. It came from the earth. I mean, listen, you're living in this earth. Have you thanked the earth for giving you the tabla, the wood, they chopped that wood, and it went to somewhere else, and the guys who cut the trunk carved it all up, and then it made hollow this, that, and then the CI, the garb, and next thing, then sold, and it's in front of you. Yes, you may say, you only thank your guru or the person who taught you, and thereafter. But have you gone way past any of that? Maybe there are people who do that, but that's what it is. It's the same thing. Goes for the food. Be grateful. So that when it comes in you, when you recognize that and you really live like that, then the playing becomes like that. Correct?
If so, imagine that someone were to be kind of watching your life from like a high level over the past 4 or 5 years. What do you think they would say about how you've kind of changed as an outside perspective? Let's say they've, noticed.
You mean me personally?
Yeah, you, and in this sort of sense.
Oh, life circumstances has always made me change. Always made me change. And, there were situations always where it was painful and, yeah, it hurts and whatnot. But I've never indulged myself in pain and that's what's the word? Stayed in it. I always thought, what is this pain? And soon I learned Pain is the greatest gift to you. Through that pain, you can learn the next level of joy or whatsoever. So when one is going, I mean, obviously it didn't happen overnight. Now it's different in the last 5 years or whatsoever. Now, so when people are watching me for the last 5 years or whatsoever, even the last year, I think, there was a huge rejection in my life. Or I'm not, I mean, I should take that back. It was a huge presentation in my life, gift in my life through pain. And yeah, you will have to go through the process of that in the very beginning to understand what it is, because you cannot avoid it. It is there. Once you start meditating upon it, you just begin to see the next level of what it has just given you. And once you start realizing that, then you get addicted, or whatever you may call it, to that process and that thing. And once that starts happening to yourself, I think you are consumed by that energy around you. And then people who are in the same vibration as you are begin to recognize that, that they see a change in me, in this Ritesh Das, the label, the identity. But the real change is actually of my being, which is above, way beyond me, So yeah, so that's what I'm saying, that people have seen that, and I see that in myself, and the questions I ask myself and the questions I'm asking, while I even doing this.
The quote that you said in your post, keep the music aligned with who you are and don't bend for anyone unless your heart connects with them. When you say your heart connects with them, in what sort of sense do you mean?
Heart. It's very hard to define in English language. Heart in this instant is your intuition. The intuition within you and the intuition of the other person. To me, it's nothing but a pure consciousness. That's the divineness, you can call it. That's the true sense of namaste, right? The good intuition, the intuition within me acknowledges the intuition within you, and so that is the highest self. So when you connect with, okay, when somebody wants you to do this, and not necessarily all this, like even not necessarily that it jives with you. You feel something is irritating or something is not happening, something is not, the vibration is not correct. But then all of a sudden somebody says something, and then that vibration correct. That intuition of that person, that new intuition, because that person had an intuition that, say, for example, if I do this, and if I can take it to another level, then that would be a very beneficial to not just me, but for people around. And by that, you could be helping someone else. So that intuition of the other person and this gels, and so goes to another level. It's all about vibration, that connection. So you feel that, it feels good in it, you feel the joy inside you. Sometimes you get goosebumps, sometimes you get this, you want to talk to this person, that was perfect. You don't even have to say anything, So that's what I'm saying. When somebody's saying stuff to you and it really hits you inside and you feel that joy, follow through. Take it to another level. It may not be the same thing, but at least try it. Because by trying, you will know, and you will have the next experience.
Yeah.
Shomik said, yep. Shunlimoy went to sleep. Okay. When your inner self or your inner compass gets quiet, and then the noise of the outside just takes over, just think how fogged up, F-O-G, fogged up you become, and how lost you are in the noise of the outside, that it takes you away from a solid, good journey to somewhere you're lost, from heaven to hell. on earth. On that note, namaskar.